she inserts the catheter into the vagina, passing it through the cervix and into one uterine port. The metal rod inside the catheter steadies the catheter while it's being inserted. The catheter contains a balloon that is inflated with saline solution in order to seal the entrance to the uterus so fluid and embryos are not lost. Once the catheter is in place, the balloon is inflated and then pumping saline through so enters to the balloon. Then how you take out the embryo is by the uterine horn. It's filled with flush media and then massaged into or to allow the embryos to flow out of the tract. This process is repeated several times in each uterine horn. Embryos are carried out of the reproductive tract through plastic tubes and collected in a filter with flush media. The pores in the filter are smaller than the embryo, so excess fluid drains out of the filter without losing the embryos. After this process has been done, the uterus is injected with penicillin to kill any missed embryos or infections within that tract.
In the lab, embryos are separated from the flush media and examined under a microscope to determine their quality and stage of development. Embryos are microscopic in size, which is usually about 0.2 millimeters in size. So only undamaged embryos at proper maturity should be transferred. Embryos should be transferred as soon as possible after the flush, which is within 8 hours at least. Embryos can also be frozen for later implantation and stored in liquid nitrogen tanks. An ET collection can be performed on a donor female every 28 to 60 days. The average number of transferable embryos per collection is about 5 to 6, but a wide range of results are common. Some donor collections result in 0 viable embryos, while other donor collections may yield more than 30 viable embryos. In 1987, 3.6%, which is about 5,105, of all calves registered were a result of embryo transfer. In 2002, 25,093 calves resulted from ET were registered. This was 8.9% of all calves registered. In 2009, just under 40,000 calves resulting from ET were registered. This accounted for about 11.5% of total registrations.
Now, there are some advantages of embryo transfer. One of the advantages is a single heifer or cow is able to produce multiple calves from the same genetic line. Another one is an older superior cow is able to donate ovules for embryo transfer. And the final major one, embryos can be frozen and stored for 2 years. Now, with advantages do come some disadvantages, such as increased expenses and higher break-even costs for calving, requires a higher level of management, increased potential for spread of certain diseases, and not all potential donors respond positively to the treatment.
So that was kind of focused on
Not most cows,
yeah.
is it more?
No, but I think one of our questions is, what do you guys feel about embryo transfer? Do you think it's a good way to help create a better or more superior genetic selection, or no?
Well, I was going to ask you first a question, but you asked us a question.
Sorry.
So you said that it was 11% of all registered calves were ET. So is that a major thing, or is that not so? Is it growing, or is it like staying about the same?
It's
Yeah.
definitely growing, just because back then it wasn't as, I guess, high of a percentage as it's like sticking rate, as we like to call it. So now with technologies being advanced, it's definitely becoming a lot more popular.
And I think with the show industry growing, it's probably a lot.
Also, for a lot of bull producers who,
Yeah.
like, they'll probably have at least 200 animals, and they want, at least a lot of people I know within the cattle industry like to have a sale with a lot of the same genetic and also some varieties of animals as well. So it's not just for the show industry.
Do you use embryo transfer?
Yes, we do. I guess, okay, the first time we used it was back in 8th grade, I forget what year that was. But just to kind of show you the differences, so my heifer and her mother, which her mother was 15 years old, and then my heifer that we flushed, she was a yearling. And kind of just to show you the difference, we got about 20 eggs out of the older female just because she was kind of used to creating more eggs. But then my heifer, she only created 4 eggs just because she hasn't capped out yet. So in the result, there was more live eggs, or more fertile eggs, so we got 14 out of the older female, and only 2 out of my heifer. That's kind of just to say what age does.
Okay, Okay, so to kind of reopen the question that we asked at the end of our presentation, what Carter ignored, what do you guys think about embryo transfer? Like, a lot of people think that it's not natural and that it's not God's way of reproducing on Earth and all that. What do you guys think?
I mean, if it works, it works. So it's obviously out there for a reason. So I'm not saying it's about everything. But
Right.
And it's embryo transfer is also getting larger in females, in human females, because
Right.
obviously some people have trouble with fertility rates and they can't have kids, and maybe that's the only way that they can is to have a surrogate mother, and that's
So
it's
would you
growing
guys
along with the adoption
say
process.
that this is a positive scientific advancement, yes or no?
Yes.
probably, yes.
How about you, Sue?
Yeah, I do. I think because our industry is not necessarily about having our cows and our beef for pets. They're not for pets. They're for market. And so if your goal is to put out the best quality meat